Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the ILA Orientation. My name is Kristen Peekole. I'm the ILA Conference and Continuing Education Manager. Before we begin, Becca, do you have a couple of housekeeping items for us?
I sure do. On behalf of ILA, we ask you to please keep your attention to the ILA staff and board for the safety features of this webinar. First, please mute yourselves and be off camera unless you are speaking. It helps with bandwidth and making sure that everybody can enjoy and see the webinar. Second, please name or rename yourself with your first and last name, not just your library or your department name or an abbreviation of some kind. Um, you're welcome to add those as well. You'll see that a lot of us have additional information, but we want to know who you are, your first and last name. So thank you for that. Third, this is very important. I hope everyone's paying attention. We do not allow AI note takers, summarizers, or AI recordings of our webinars. If we see that you have that activated, unfortunately, you might be removed from the webinar. ILA staff is monitoring this, so just go ahead and turn that off right now. Fourth, if you have any questions, please add them to the Q&A box. Sometimes the chat gets chatty, and we don't want to miss anything. Renee will read the questions aloud, and he or someone on staff or on the board will answer those questions, so that not only you all can hear them, but also so that they can be heard in the recording for those who are unable to join us today. So now I'm going to turn it over to Tina, who has more exciting info for you.
Thank you, Becca. Throughout today's orientation, we're going to launch 6 polls. We highly encourage you to participate in those polls. You can participate in all, you can participate in some, but we will also have a raffle to win a gift from the ILA and iRead store after today's orientation based on that participation in the polls. I will shortly add some links to those stores as well, so you can start planning on what would you like to get as a gift. Please feel free to add additional thoughts and comments to the polls in the chat, and I will turn it off now to my colleague Tamara.
Hello, everyone. Okay, what's the next thing? Oh, thank you. I was like, am I supposed to say something else? Okay, thank you very much. Hello, Tamara Jenkins. I oversee ILA social media platforms, and we are on all major platforms. We are still on Twitter, but we're not active on there. If you're not already following us, we urge you and plead with you to please follow us on any and all social platforms that you use. Also, I just want to put a quick plug that I love sharing wonderful stories about libraries. So if you ever have anything interesting going on in your library, something fun or funny, please tag ILA or shoot me an email, and I would love to post it. And now on to you, Renee.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2026 ILA Orientation. My name is Renee Leyva, and I'm the 2026-27 ILA President. All of you here today matter. Like I remind my own staff, every position is vital to our library success. Your title or educational background should never determine how you treat others. So none of us are here are more important than the next person walking through our library doors. All of you here today represent different types of libraries, library systems, and library-related organizations. That diversity in our libraries and association is one of our greatest strengths. We're here because we believe we can make a difference. We're here to advance our profession, support our colleagues, and do work that has a lasting impact on libraries and the communities we serve. I'm honored to be surrounded by people who truly care. And for most of us, this isn't just a job, it's our passion, it's our purpose. For those who haven't met me yet, I'm a passionate bibliotecario, a librarian, a proud Latino, born in Durango, Mexico. I received my MLIS from Dominican University, father of 3 boys, which explains why I'm also a Cub Master for PAC 385 in Mantino, and since yesterday, assistant soccer coach for the second year, even though I retired already. previous president of the Reaching Across Illinois Library System, and for the past 11 years in this profession, I've advocated for lifelong learning, public service, and social services. I believe in listening to all sides and understanding the history and the context before making any decision, whether it's with a committee, a board, or any other group I am part of. The only agenda I have is to make sure that every region, every library type, and every voice has a seat at the table. And that's who I am, and that's how I intend to lead the association for this year. I am honored to serve as the ILA president this upcoming year. Our 2026 ILA annual conference theme, fired up and ready to go for all Illinois libraries. This theme stems from my candidate statement. We cannot afford to be reactive. Using the strategic plan as our guide, we can continue to protect intellectual freedom, ensure equitable access, and solidify libraries' role as vital community resource hubs. Every library, regardless of its type, size, or geographical location, plays a crucial part in our collective success. Undervaluing even one library undermines the foundation of our profession. By sharing our stories with stakeholders and demonstrating our impact, we can build a stronger connections and increase support for our work. It will continue fostering collaborations amongst all library systems and strengthening our relationships with the Illinois State Library. Let us stand united, not just as colleagues, but as a community of advocates ready to face challenges head on together while honoring ILA's commitment to action, empowering our members, building network of support, and advocating for impactful legislation, and ensuring no one in our profession feels isolated or unheard. The association is not perfect, but I can guarantee you that the executive board, the executive director, and our ILA staff will try our best to make sure that this is another amazing year. It's going to be a great year. Before we go any further, I want my fellow board members to introduce themselves to you. Each member will share their name, their library, their position on the board, and their favorite library resource or skill other than books. I'll go first. I'm the executive director of the Foster Ridge Public Library District, representing 10 different communities spanning 3 counties, representing the small and rural libraries. My favorite library resource that many can take advantage of right now is IRIS, the Illinois Reliable Information Sources, where every Illinois resident can get a free and easy, reliable e-resource. It also has more for students K through 12, so I do hope you do check it out if you haven't used it. Heather is next, and then we can proceed down the list. Heather, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I'm Heather Jagman. I'm at DePaul University Library in Chicago, and I'm the head of research, instruction, and academic engagement. And I'm also the liaison to the College of Education and the Theater School at DePaul University. And my favorite library resource or skill other than books is our chat research help service. We're online 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. most nights. And questions are answered by a real person, a real library staff member, and we get all kinds of wonderful questions and wonderful interaction with our patrons. Thanks. Over to Lee.
Hello, my name is Lee Spearman. I am director of the Belleville Public Library. My favorite library resource has to be hotspots. I've seen, especially during COVID, how invaluable internet services are, especially in my community. So I have to say hotspots is my most favorite library resource. I will pass it on to Betsy.
Hi, I'm Betsy Mahoney from the 6 Mile Regional Library District, which is 6 miles from St. Louis. So that's where you know where I am. I'm the assistant director. And my favorite library resource is our ability to sell DNR hunting and fishing licenses. We get to meet a whole lot of members in the community that otherwise might not come in. So it's a great way to advertise. And we will move on to Dan.
Everybody, my name is Dan Matthews. I'm at the Moraine Valley Community College Library. I'm the digital services librarian here. My first favorite library resources, librarians. I think we do a lot of great work for our constituents, our students, our patrons. And a close second to that would be our maker spaces. We've recently implemented one here at Moraine Valley, and the joy that our students are getting out of seeing their creations come into real life is second to none. So with that, I'll pass it to Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Caudell. I'm a trustee at the ILA Area Public Library District in Lake Zurich, Illinois, which is about 75 miles northwest of Chicago. I'm in my 24th year as a trustee, and having recently retired, one of my favorite things at my library is currently attending what they call Warm Up Lake Zurich, which is a knitting and crocheting group. They also do quilting, but I don't stick around for that part yet. But they work on a lot of projects for various community organizations, for our outreach groups, for sexual abuse victims, and for foster children. And last year alone, they donated over 3,000 items to those organizations. So I will pass this on along now to Ben.
Well, my friends, I hope that you're well. My name is Ben DiBiasio, and I am coming at you from Dominican University in the Rebecca Crown Library. I'm the Community Learning and Outreach Librarian. My favorite library resource or skill other than books, I am biased, but I'm definitely a fan of our reference and research support services. That's kind of I love teaching classes and workshops, but getting to work one-on-one with students and staff really is, for me, kind of the most rewarding or one of the most rewarding parts of my work. So I really enjoy that chance to work with, especially with our School of Information Studies, working with librarians in training. I always find particularly rewarding. So I will popcorn Travis.
Okay, I don't know if my camera came on. Can you guys see me? Good. All right, my name is Travis J. Givens from the Toledo Public Library District. I also represent the Willow Branch Township Library. I'm a director at both libraries, and my favorite library resource or skill is community engagement. I mean, I build great partnerships and do a lot of outreach and creative problem solving to really solve my community's needs. And with that, I will pass this on to Michelle.
I'm Michelle Glatt. I am at two junior high schools in McLean County Unit 5 in Bloomington Normal as school library media specialist. And I love eRead Illinois from Rails. It is the only subscription that my district purchases for ebooks and audiobooks for my students. So it is critical to student success and lifelong reading. It looks like Chris is next.
Hi, I'm Chris Houchins. I'm the director at the Charleston Carnegie Public Library. My favorite library skill is jigsaw puzzling. And metaphorically, I mean the way we as librarians and libraries can connect people to resources, people to people. We can look at the big picture and fill in the gaps, but also very literally, jigsaw puzzling. You see behind me, I'm going to show you this. This big Disney picture is actually a jigsaw puzzle my community put together, and I have a lot of people that have become like really close friends through jigsaw puzzling. So that's a library skill because I say so. I'll pass it now to Jen.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Hovanek. I am the executive director at the LaGrange Public Library by day. By night, I am an elected trustee at my home library in Villa Park, Illinois. So I'm on both sides of that wonderful table. I think that my very favorite library resource is personally networking and the ability to build your community and your support system through other libraries. ILA and Rails especially have been very good for that with connecting us even across library types. So I'm looking forward to getting to work with all of you, maybe more than we have in the past. I am going to be very specific because Heather McCarthy, because there's a couple of Heathers and a couple of Jennifers on the board this year. So you're next, Heather McCarthy.
Hi, I'm Heather McCarthy, and I work at Oaklawn Hometown Middle School as their librarian, and then I also serve as the president of our public library board in Oaklawn. My favorite library resource is my library's Beyond Books collection. It's super helpful for everything my students need, and especially helpful for my own children, especially my son who thinks he has a lot of hobbies and interests, but does not want to do them for more than a week. So when he wants to be a guitarist, we just borrow the guitar instead of buying a guitar. When he wants to be a gamer, we just borrow the equipment. And so it has saved me a lot of money. I will pass this on to Elizabeth.
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth. I am the library director at the Field Museum. I also co-chair the cataloging and metadata committee, which is part of the Biodiversity Heritage Library, which is a global consortium. So Illinois residents can also freely use it. And my favorite resource is Interlibrary Loan. It's something I manage here, and I think it's just so wonderful that I can put in a request for a patron for an article from a journal we don't have and get a PDF within 24 to 48 hours, which is really helpful for special libraries like ourselves because we just don't have the funds or capacity to subscribe to every journal that exists that our patrons would want. And Jennifer Mills, you're next.
And I am jealous that Elizabeth stole my answer of interlibrary loan. My name's Jenny Mills. I'm the director of the Shore Troy Public Library District, and I'm also the chair of the Limerick Health Insurance Cooperative. If now the interlibrary loan is taken, I am proud that we are a passport acceptance agency, like a lot of the other public libraries in Illinois. I was moderating a panel of state representatives and state senators last week, and our local state senator didn't even know that libraries could be a passport acceptance agency facility like post offices and townships. So make sure that when you're doing your advocacy with your local elected officials that you mention it if you are, because she thought it was really cool. And I am going to pass this along to Joel now.
Hello, I'm Joel Pecora. I am the library director at the Mascoutah Public Library. My favorite library resource is board games. They're very expensive and they take up a lot of room on your shelf if you have them at home, but at the library, it's a lot less of a problem. And I will pass it to Shannon.
Hi, my name is Shannon Port. I'm the Associate Director at Elgin Community College. And I will say one of my favorite resources is LinkedIn Learning. It's a huge resource that has all kinds of uses and availability to our students, staff, and faculty to learn about all kinds of different things and to practice skills. So I think that one's a huge one. Thanks. And I will pass it on to Greg McCormick.
And Greg McCormick, unfortunately, could not be with us. He had another important meeting he had to attend. Obviously, the Illinois State Library has a lot of things that they have to work on. Thank you so much, Shannon. And thank you, everyone, for contributing. Now we're ready for our first poll. I wish I had like some type of like maracas or something. Sarah, take it away.
Thank you, Renee. So for the first question for the poll, you should see that pop up and respond. If you were a book character, what role would you play? Would you be the brave hero, a horrible villain, the comic relief for belly laughs, or the mysterious background character? A lot of great options. Oh, I'm seeing the responses coming in, and we'll give it a couple more seconds for everybody to have a chance. Okay. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and we're sharing the results, I believe. So it looks like I was going to go with mysterious background character. That's what almost 50% of people said, with 35% saying the comic relief. And we're split at about 8% brave heroes and 9% the horrible villains. And just a reminder that participation in the polls could mean you could get a cool new ILA mug. All right, Kristen, do you have anything strategery to share with us?
Thanks, Sarah. The ILA Executive Board approved the strategic plan on May 16th, 2024. Our vision is collaboratively shaping a strong future for libraries in Illinois. And our mission is advocacy, equity, learning, and engagement for the benefit of Illinois libraries. And to get there and maintain our course, we focus our strategy, our goals on advocacy, membership engagement, and ILA organizational health. So many of our ILA committees and forums here today are doing terrific work advancing our vision and our mission. And the ILA Executive Board urges everyone to keep the plan in mind when developing your activities for the next 2026-27 term. Renee?
Thanks, Kristen. In general, These groups can be distinguished by thinking of committees as doing the work of the association, with forums functioning more as interest or affinity groups. Of course, forums provide plenty of work and services for ILA at conferences and throughout the year, providing nominations to the nominating committee, social media and newsletters based on the group's interests, and so on. Committees charged with doing the work of the association are appointed by the vice president and president-elect each spring. And thank you everyone who said yes to me when I came calling. Whereas forums are more member-led, with each forum determining its own leadership, we are pleased to have forum leadership here with us today, along with committee chairs and members. The committee's website outlines the appointment of the officer for each ILA committee, including members and chairs. The only self-appointing committees are the I-READ Committee, Reaching Forward North, Reaching Forward South committees, Illinois Public Library Standards Committee, and the Illinois Libraries Present Committee. Their rosters are subject to approval of the Vice President and President-elect. Mostly that's to make sure that there is little overlap with any other appointments. Appointing officers strongly consider the Illinois Libraries community's diverse constituencies include geographic location, type of library worker, and library type and size. ILA policy requires executive board members, committee members, and forum leaders to maintain personal membership in the association for the duration of their term of service. Forum events, meetups, and roundtables are open for participation to interest Illinois library workers, but do not require personal membership. Alec, do you have a question for the group?
Do I? Time for our second poll question. How many police cars were destroyed during the filming of the Blues Brothers in 1980? Was it 4, 27, 60, or 210 police cars? Just a reminder that the ILA store has buttons and tote bags. Let's see how many people know their 80s movie. Alrighty. Results are in, and by 1%, the correct answer was chosen. It was 60 cars were destroyed. 37% of you guessed that. 36 said 27, 7% said 4, 20% said 210. Renee, how do you feel about the Golden Girls?
Thanks, Alec. I've always felt a kinship with Blanche. But currently, my mornings without my brown sugar espresso drink has my attitude like Larry David from an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. But seriously, every committee and forum has a board liaison and staff liaison. Your board liaison is there to keep open lines of communication with the ILA executive board and the advice committee, and advises the committees about coordinating projects with ILA's strategic priorities. Chairs and managers, please invite your board liaison to your meetings. Board liaisons, if you can't go to every meeting, that is okay. But please stay in touch with your chairs and managers. If times allows, create a standing agenda item for board liaisons to provide updates. Committee chairs and forum managers, your role is to advance the technical work of your groups, set agendas, involve your committee and forum members in developing projects and initiatives, and report out to the ILA Executive Board. That said, the Executive Board's purpose is not to micromanage. It is to set strategy and policy, have oversight for the fulfillment and adherence to those things. The board works at the 3,000-foot level. Staff and committees typically handle the implementation. Your board reports are not a test, and you won't be graded. Well, depending on your staff liaison. The purpose of reporting is so that leadership is aware of the excellent work you are doing and can respond to any needs or questions that you have in order to do your excellent work. Board liaisons provide committees with updates after executive board meetings and alert committee members and forum boards to upcoming actions and deliberation. Board liaisons communicate appointments and roster changes. Your staff liaison is there for continuity and for logistic support. While elected and appointed leaders come and go, for the most part, staff is present for the long term and will have institutional memory about how and why things are done. We'll hear more from the small but mighty ILA staff in a few minutes. It's important for the staff liaison to be part of the committee's work and any subcommittees to provide clear expectations about the capacity and ability of the staff to facilitate your work. Staff liaisons schedule meetings via the ILA Zoom accounts, send calendar invites and reminders, facilitate a Google Workspace for agendas and working documents, update online rosters, and post meetings and events on the website. There may be times where ILA resources don't have the capacity to facilitate every initiative. We have a limited budget, staff hours, and technology. That doesn't mean it's always a no. It may just means it's not at this time. Staff will oftentimes need to bring a committee or forums idea back to the group for discussion and deliberation to see what's feasible and how it aligns with ILA's strategic plan. In closing, I will say thank you and thank you again for your dedication and hard work for ILA. We really could not do anything without you, and please do not hesitate to ask questions. As members and leaders, you play an important role in advancing the work and mission of ILA. To help ensure a successful and productive experience for everyone, we ask all members, leaders, to meet a few key expectations. First, please maintain an active ILA personnel membership and keep your ILA profile up to date so we can communicate effectively and accurately recognize your service. Don't make ILA staff chase you down to pay your membership dues. And I was just aware that someone just received their dues and it had my signature. And I want to apologize. Uh, no, but we would greatly appreciate if you're able to complete those as soon as you can. We also ask that you review and comply with ILA's conflict of interest policy and code of conduct. These help ensure that our work is transparent, professional, respectful, and aligned with our organizational values. As leaders, we encourage you to support ILA programs and initiatives, including submitting conference proposals and sharing your expertise with the broader community whenever possible. Your staff liaisons and board liaisons will provide clear expectations, guidance, and accountability, and to submit at least one proposal. We want the work of ILA committees and forums to be the shining star of our conferences. You do mean a lot. Finally, regular meeting attendance and active participation are essential. Your engagement, ideas, and contributions help move the committee's work forward and ensure we achieve our goals together. And just to add, we did receive close to 130 submissions to join a committee. So it's one of those things where if you don't feel that you can fulfill that role, do bring it up to staff liaison because there are a lot of really great people out there that unfortunately could not make it into a committee. And we really want to make sure that this becomes a really productive year and a great year. Kristen?
Thanks, Renee. An added note about the ILA Code of Conduct. Longtime members, leaders may have noticed that the executive board recently updated that statement. The expanded Code of Conduct addresses behavioral expectations for all facets of ILA participation, not just limited to conferences and events, but including committee meetings and forums. It emphasizes the professional environment in which diverse participation may learn, network, collaborate, and enjoy the company of our colleagues, and that we are all responsible to create and hold that environment. The updated code outlines resulting action steps for behavior that is not conducive to the engaging, respectful dialogue and collaboration that ILA prides itself on. All right, I think we have a poll. Becca.
All right, party people, if you could time travel with no negative consequences, where would you go, to the past or to the future? You will see that there are actually three options: past, future, and no thank you. So go ahead and get those answers in. This is a great uh, promo for iRead 2027. Reading expands our universe. It's a science fiction theme. So, all right, let's see the results. Oh, okay. All right. So most people want to go into the past, that's wild. It's so stinky back there. A few into the future, and some people want to stay right where they are. That's wonderful. Tamara, can you tell us about the exciting world of bylaws?
I sure can, Becca. Thank you. So let's see. Much of your, let me make sure. Much of your time will be focused on forums and committees. So what's the difference between them? Committees provide support services for the membership at large and the board. Members are appointed by the vice president, president-elect. Forums allow Illinois library workers to connect on specific topics and interests, and all ILA personal members are able to join forum boards. We're starting with committee charges and composition statements. It says every committee has a charge which describes the work of the committee. The composition statement includes the number of voting members, which are staggered. Most committee members serve 2 or 3 years. Some committees have ex officio members, which means you are serving for your status or position and don't vote. For example, the chairs of the advocacy committee are ex officio members of the public policy committee. On occasion, it becomes necessary to update a charge or composition statement, and in that case, it's usually committee or forum driven with approval by the executive board. Then next, we're going to talk about terms and lengths. Committee service terms are limited, usually 2 or 3 years. We love to keep all of you around forever, which is very true, doing the work of the association, but you don't want to get stuck in a rut, and we want to ensure everyone interested has an opportunity to serve. You can always volunteer for other committees when your term on your current one is over. It's healthy for an association to have a blend of new and experienced members so that we can learn from each other. As I mentioned, committee member terms are sometimes inconsistent from committee to committee. Some are 2-year and some are 3-year. Chair terms are 1 year and may occur in one of the years already part of your term or in addition. It's possible to be reappointed as a chair or a member, but the ILA vice president, president-elect, will do this with an eye toward maintaining the staggering of terms. If you have questions about your term, please contact your chair or staff liaison for help. I'm sorry. Unless ILA is closed, Becca, what happens if ILA is closed?
Thanks, Tamara. ILA observes a number of recognized holidays throughout the year, and our staff also take well-earned personal time off. We make every effort to communicate these absences in advance through email, our email signatures, out of office messages, so you'll know when someone may or may not be available. The ILA website list is the general holidays when ILA is closed. The calendar notes those specific dates. We simply ask that you help us respect our work-life balance. Unless something is truly urgent, please allow staff the opportunity to disconnect and enjoy their time away. Doing so helps ensure that we return rested, recharged, and ready to support our members and our volunteers. We appreciate your partnership and understanding. Respecting one another's time, including time away from work, is an important part of maintaining a healthy and supportive association community. So I think it's back to Renee now, yeah? Nope, JK, it's Kristen. Kristen!
Sorry, I'm running so many different programs, my computer didn't want to unmute me and uncamera me.
Rude.
All right, I know, right? There are a couple of additional policies that ILA members should be aware of. The ILA membership policy, you've heard it a little bit, I'm going to reinforce it. It is policy. All committee members are required to maintain personal membership in the association for the duration of their term of service. The rationale for this policy is that those chosen to do the work of the association need to represent themselves, not the interests of their libraries. And those doing the work of the association really should have an ownership in it. Being a part of a committee or a forum board is professional growth that makes each of you a stronger library worker. For those forums and committees that choose recipients for awards and grants, it's important that the decisions you're making to strengthen the profession that represent ILA are made by people who have a personal investment in the association and prioritizes the strategic goals and growth of an association as a whole. ILA has a fantastic membership team, and I can guarantee you that if you have a question or a concern about what level you should join at or renew at, they will give you the best and most economical choice. In general, ILA Executive Board, Committee, and forum meetings are open to ILA members. The meetings are open to ILA members, with the exception of the Nominating and the Awards Committee. ILA members can access the online rosters to contact committee chairs, forum managers, or staff liaisons about attending a meeting. There are more details outlined in the policy about participation, action items, and executive sessions. The ILA annual budget is approved by the Executive Board in May, and each staff liaison is responsible for discussing the specific budget amounts and how it can be utilized during the committee and forum onboarding processes. Most of the time, the staff liaisons will make purchases on your behalf. If you have any questions, connect with your staff liaison. ILA budgets operates differently than libraries. We rely on membership dues, registration fees, donations, and more to continue the great work of the association. Fiscal support of ILA through membership, donations, please, if you're able, participation in initiatives like Illinois Libraries Presents, and the institutional member benefit for public libraries of the Amazon Business Prime, and even the use of I Read Summer Reading theme each year help ILA to continue to operate and grow. These help ILA from having to make dramatic increases to registration costs and membership dues. The cliche quote is true: help us help you. There are a lot of different decisions and responsibilities that go into achieving the goals of our association. When it comes to policies, budgets, and strategic plans, those decisions and responsibilities are in the capable and dedicated hands of the ILA Executive Board. The passionate and talented ILA staff are tasked with facilitating and enforcing the budgets, policies, and plans approved by the Executive Board. They work closely with committees and forums to shape the vision of those plans. For example, the board wants to focus on member engagement. They've adopted a budget that prioritizes resources for an annual conference, where members can learn and network and collaborate together. The board has appointed committee members to work on shaping the program, and the executive director has hired staff to facilitate the event. While the committee brainstorms keynote speakers and themes, the logistical work of contracts, honorarium, and designers is conducted internally. I'm so lucky that Renee has put together an awesome conference program for 2026, and I hope you all plan to be fired up and ready to go in October. Alexandra, what do you know about Illinois libraries?
Thanks, Kristen. There is a lot I don't know about Illinois libraries, which brings us to poll number 4. How many libraries are there in Illinois? This includes all of them: public, school, academic, and special. So you have your choices are 42, 623, 3,893, or 17,500.
Fewer people knew the answer to this one.
Nice. So the results, nobody chose 42. So the correct answer is 3,893. 17,500, that would be wild. But yeah, that's great. I truly had no idea. Renee, you're up.
All right, thank you so much. It's time now to introduce you to the incredibly hardworking ILA staff. And can you believe there's only 8 of them? That is bonkers. All right, who's the first? Cindy.
Well, you wouldn't believe it when we had three in the office. Hi, I'm Cindy Robinson, the Executive Director of ILA. Um, so I'm responsible for general management, budget development, and implementation. Can never say that word. Implementing is the of the strategic plans of the executive board. Um, I work with the ILA ex, executive board on fiscal oversight and library development, state and federal legislative advocacy, and development and overall oversight of the iRead summer reading program. This is a bit of a bittersweet team for me because this autumn I will be leaving ILA. I'll be retiring after 26 years at ILA. Um, I look forward to introducing you to the new executive director that will continue to lead ILA to the future. And I think this goes on to Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Anderson. I'm the Member Services Specialist and Editor for ILA. This September will be my 6th year with ILA. I started in 2020 when everything was still virtual and remote. So it's been an interesting journey to see it go from there to back to doing stuff in person and hybrid. My duties, I answer with our members team. Answer a lot of your questions if you're coming and sending to the ILA email or calling. We're kind of the first line of defense. So chances are you're probably talking to me or to Alec or Alexandra if you're reaching out to us at the ILA phone number and email, the basic ones. I'm also the editor and the staff liaison for the ILA Reporter Advisory Committee. It's a wonderful committee, and the journal, I hope everybody reads it. It's fabulous. Starting this year, July, Kristen and I are also serving as co-staff liaisons for the ILA Advocacy and PPC committees. And I assist Kristen as kind of an unofficial staff liaison for the Reaching Forward North Committee, and I'm also the staff liaison for the Human Resources and Administration Forum. And I'm going to turn it over to Becca.
Thanks, Sarah. My name is Becca Boland. I am the iRead Content and Development Manager. I came to ILA in 2023 after about 2 decades in public libraries, including chairing the iRead committee in 2022. I do a lot with iRead, and if I don't handle it, usually Tina, Alec, Alexandra, and Sarah are there to pick up whatever need be done. I'll let them talk more about that. I am the staff liaison to the iRead committee. I am also the staff liaison to both the Youth Services Forum and the Young Adult Services Forum. If there's anything at all that you need, if there's anything I can do to support you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to pass it along to our newest member, Alexandra. Tell the people who you are.
Thanks, Rebecca. So my name is Alexandra Gonzalez. I started a temporary position, I think around February, late February of this year. And as of a few weeks ago, I am the newest full-time employee. I am a customer service representative, providing support for the iRead summer reading program and administrative support for member services and event-related inquiries and general office support. So lots of mailing out things and whatnot. So it's still it's been a while already, but still there's a lot to learn. I'm constantly surprised, impressed with how much there is to learn with ILA. So yeah, excited to be here and to meet you all. Thank you. Tamara, you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara Jenkins. I am the Communication and Engagement Manager for the Illinois Library Association. I am also the staff liaison to the Diversity and Awards Committee. I'm also the staff liaison to the Academic Librarians Forum, the Marketing Forum. I'm sure there's something else I'm missing. I have been with ILA, I think for maybe about 8 years now. I am from the association world with over 15 years experience. So association work is not new to me. I also handle all of ILA's social media platforms, as I stated earlier. And again, I'm gonna just put that plug in. Please, 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 please follow us on all social media platforms if you're active on social media, and send me your wonderful stories about everything your libraries are doing, because I love to share all of that information and I love to see what libraries are doing. That's why I'm always on social media and sharing. And I am going to pass it over to my colleague, Tina.
Thank you so much, Tamara. My name is Tina Koleva, and I have worked for ILA for about 11 years now, serving in a variety of roles and responsibilities throughout the years. I'm currently the ILA Deputy Director and iRead Project Lead. I work closely with the ILA Executive Director, with the board, and all staff on a variety of projects and daily operations, and really anything and everything ILA and iRead related. I am the staff liaison or partner with some of my colleagues on being co-staff liaison to the following committees: the iRead Committee, Nominating Committee, Illinois Public Libraries Present Committee, and the Illinois Public Library Standards Committee. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for volunteering to be on a forum or an ILA committee, as well as the board. And I will pass it on to Alec.
Hello, my name is Alec McGowan. I'm a customer service representative at ILA, and I've been here for just over 2 years. I am a staff liaison to the Research and Technical Services Forum, and I assist with general event registration and internal event procedures. I read customer support. I track individual donations and send out donation letters, and I assist with writing and editing ILA and iRead media. And I will pass it on to Kristen Peekle.
Thanks, Alec. My name is Kristen Peekle. I just celebrated my 4th year at ILA, where I am the Conference and Continuing Education Manager. I am the staff liaison for 8 committees and 2 forums and 2 cooperative committees, Directors University and the Illinois Youth Services Institute. I lead the events team to produce the ILA Annual Conference, Reaching Forward North and South, Directors University, and ICE, and the legislative meetups. Before I was at ILA, I was at ALA for 8 years, working as the Assistant Director of the Office for Intellectual Freedom. I hold a CAE, which stands for Certified Association Executive, and an MLAS, because I was also a teen librarian in Wisconsin. I grew up in Green Bay, and I'm a diehard Packers fan. Cindy?
Hi, I'm pleased to introduce Derek Lyda. He is our legislative consultant who will talk about ILA's processes for developing our advocacy at Springfield. Derek, are you ready?
So good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to join you for a few minutes. First of all, congratulations for being part of a tremendous organization. I've had the privilege and pleasure of representing the Illinois Library Association for over a decade in Springfield. And this is truly one of my favorite clients because of the people who make up this organization. So I'm very, very glad each and one of you are here. Our process for Springfield legislation development is exceptionally inclusive. It starts now for next January, when the Illinois General Assembly will convene for its first session day on January 13, 2027. Everything goes through our Public Policy Committee. That's the group that generates our ideas and concepts and our legislative requests. And sometimes what starts out as a legislative request gets resolved in an administrative fashion. And what begins as the filing of a bill ends up as a small component of a very large proposal at the end of session. regardless of how ideas begin, the only thing that matters is if we move our organization forward. And that's why our Public Policy Committee will begin to develop ideas and concepts for its consideration to recommend to our executive board during its September session on what we will spearhead in Springfield. This year, we had 3 proposals. We had 2 money requests, one for open educational resources, the sharing of textbooks and other materials for our community college university students to share throughout the state of Illinois for purposes of resource conservation, and more importantly, so people have access to the material that they require in order to perform in their classes so they can move towards graduation. We also introduced a bill to raise the ceiling on the grants that we as an institution and as our individual members can receive through the appropriations process in Springfield. Now, you may have read in early June that our Attorney General's budget was cut by just over $10 million. It's one example of how tight the budget process is getting in Springfield. And this year was a little rough, but next year will be more difficult. So we're going to work very, very diligently with you and others, our friends in Springfield, to ensure that our grant money does not get cut, that the opportunities that we currently have in statute don't constrict, and more importantly, to take advantage of every opportunity that we have to expand what you are able to do at a cheaper cost to your individual budgets next year. After public policy comes up with a laundry list of concepts, it will begin to weed those out. What do we want to pursue today? What do we want to hold off for tomorrow? And probably the most interesting option, what will we try to amend on to other bills that will move through the legislative process? That begins in January and will conclude just after Memorial Day. It's a 5-month process where each and every day the Illinois General Assembly is in session. We're also present to testify in committee, have discussions with legislators who may not share our opinion on a bill or a proposal, and again, take advantage of every opportunity that they give us to make sure you are able to do what your local library believes is the most appropriate thing to do in your communities. After we weed down our laundry list of proposals, we'll take those to the exec board. They will have the final say on what we file and what we don't, and more importantly, what we can pursue without the filing of a specific piece of legislation. That may mean through the administrative rule process. That may mean through, frankly, discussions and negotiations with others to sneak other things into a bill or a proposal that will come later in session. But sometimes the most important advocacy is done to prevent other proposals from becoming law, to make sure that we don't unintentionally get hurt in the process. Now, this will develop over the next year or so, and we'll walk you through the process as appropriate. But for those in public policy, I want to thank you for your willingness to continue to serve in this important advocacy role. We'll talk to you later this afternoon. But before I say thank you, I just want to express my appreciation to Cindy for her leadership over the past several years, to Sarah and everyone else who remains in-house. The people of the ILA staff are really what makes this place tick. And whether it was under Cindy's leadership or previous executive directors, that's the reason why you're credible in Springfield before our constitutional officers, our legislative leaders in the House and the Senate, and most importantly, our individual rank and file members that serves the communities in which we work and live. So Cindy, thank you very, very much. I am always happy to go to Springfield on your behalf and look forward to doing it again next year. Happy to stop there. If you do have questions, please feel free to email me, text, or call. Don't worry about the time, the weekend, the weekday. Lots of others call. If you have questions, please be one of them. Thank you very much. Good to see you all.
Thanks, Derek. Now I have a very important question. Alec, can you do the Vulcan salute?
Yes.
Oh, you got it.
Been waiting for someone to ask me this all day. And this brings us to poll number 5. Can the rest of you do it? Wow. All right. Most of you can do it with both hands. Yeah. And then only 5% cannot, and that's okay. I'm sure you guys got plenty of time to practice. I'm gonna pass this back off to Renee.
I don't know how to beat that. I mean, like, I'm just trying to figure out there should be a poll question is who decided all these poll questions? They're entertaining. Uh, so we're here. This is an opportunity for anyone to type a question in the Q&A. I may call on my colleagues on the board or ILA staff to help me respond. If needed, I'm happy to connect with ILA members offline to respond a longer explanation. I would advise not to text me during the weekend or after hours because I'm also married and my wife would kill me. Yep, so I'll wait if there's any questions. And this is where I come to the ILA staff. How long do you want me to wait? France or Spain? You know what? I'll give you that one. I want France to win. I don't know if Argentina already played, and if they did, I hope they lost. I have no comment after that. Okay, I think we're
Renee, I
gonna
was just going,
go
sorry,
ahead.
I was
No,
just
go
going
ahead.
to say I don't see any questions coming into the Q&A.
I can talk about soccer all day. Going to play England, they're going to. All right, I'm not gonna read that because I don't feel it involves anything of what we're doing right now. Anyway, I hope France wins. For at least this, not a war. But I'm not gonna take a hole. Let's go to the next slide. There's also a comprehensive FAQ on the ILA website that is shared in the chat. Staff does a great job about providing detailed answers and instructions on the website. When in doubt, look at there first. All right, that wraps up our Q&A. Tina, do you have our final question?
It's going to be me.
Sorry, it's Sarah.
Sorry.
My bad.
But the last question, would you rather have a library cat or a library dog? And you don't have to be, I'm a dog person. I have a dog, grown up with dogs, but I think a library cat would be really awesome, just super chill and mellow to relax with. But library dogs would also be super fun. So it'll be interesting to see what the options are. We also have the neither for our non-animal people and another animal for those who maybe don't like cats or dogs or have allergies. Say a library fish. That would be fun.
We have a library
Tortoises.
turtle. She's great. Her name is Shelly.
How are we supposed to choose? Yeah, I know it's a hard one. And a miniature horse. Okay. Lot of different options coming through in the chat. I love this, but it does look like for our poll, cat wins with dog coming up second and then tied for neither or another animal. A library axolotl. Okay, that is awesome. And bald eagle. You guys we're gonna have to do a trip to visit all these libraries with their library animals.
That is so cool.
All right. Thanks. And Renee, any closing remarks?
Well, it looks like I'm not going to be visiting like half your libraries as a person who has allergies towards dogs and cats. I do have two doggies at home, a standard golden doodle that weighs 97 pounds. He's full of love. And then a vicious little miniature Aussie doodle. And let me just tell you, he will definitely take anything out of the other dog's mouth, and he has no problem with it. All right. Let's make this year a year of growth, learning, and thoughtful action. Together, we will ensure that our association remains strong not only for today, but for the next 130 years. Can you believe it? It's been 130 years. This baby is oiled up and ready to go. And let me just tell you, I am so excited. I am definitely fired up. I want to thank everyone for their dedication, their time, and their willingness to serve. Gracias por todo. Thank you for everything. Now go be the badasses that I know all of you are. Have fun, be kind, have great conversations, have meaningful, productive conversations, that will move this profession forward. Support one another. And now that I have everyone fired up, let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's get some stuff done. Let's make sure that this year is more impactful than the last. Let's make sure that our president-elect has some work to be done after this year is done. After the orientation, you'll receive a follow-up email with a link to the recording and links to the ILA Conflict of Interest Agreement form and the ILA Code of Conduct Agreement form. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to contact ILA. Remember, ILA@ILA.org. Let's say it again, ILA@ILA.org. It's a simple email. Do send emails. They're live people. They're the people that you've already met and they introduce themselves to you. Please email us with all those concerns and questions if you do have them. We are trying to do our best. We're not perfect, but it does not mean that we can't do our best. And don't forget, we are returning to Peoria this year, October 6th through the 8th. General registration opens on Monday, July 20th, 2026. Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. We got done a little bit early, so congratulations. You have another 25 minutes. Get a snack, take a walk, enjoy the air. All right. We'll look forward to an email from us soon. Be safe, everyone.